now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Braylon Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazaway. Let's talk some sports.
Hey, let's go. Friday show, January 12th, 2024. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com, fox2detroit.com, and the Fox local app if you are watching live. If you're watching on YouTube, one of the over 60,000 subscribers on this platform, thank you for doing so. We appreciate it. Subscribe, hit the like button. Braylon Edwards, you are him. Good afternoon to you, my friend.
Hey, you know what? It's Haircut Friday, so I always tend to feel like him on that day, but I appreciate that. Feeling good, man. We're closer to Lions D-Day this Sunday. I'm just happy to be here, back and rolling, and you got it.
Tom Mazaway, good afternoon to you. We're the old logo that Mr. Ford, was a favorite of Mr. Ford's.
My favorite, too. Always was. And this is old school. This ain't the new redo.
Right.
This is actually 20-something years old.
Looks like it is worn
exactly.
as well.
People pay extra for this kind of look.
Silverdome purchase.
That's right.
It's a Silverdome purchase.
I'm nervous.
The wind tunnel at the Silverdome.
You know what I'm nervous about the most? Losing my power.
So you took
If I
us
can't
there
watch football
right now.
I'm pissed.
But 1 second. Let me just introduce JB and Pete Spivak as well. Gentlemen, good to have you with us as well. I was talking to Brandon Hudson about this at Fox 2 earlier today, the great anchor reporter at Fox 2, Brandon Hudson. And he said this, and I absolutely agree with this. For as much as we have lost power in and around the city of Detroit, Braylon, this potentially could be the biggest weather event in the history of DTE, at least in the last 50 years.
Oh, no.
Obviously the blackout, okay?
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the blackout. I'm talking about
That was different.
That was a completely different thing. Completely different.
Was it 03?
But if what happens beginning today actually happens, and I'm not talking about the snow. In many areas, we might get 2 to 3 inches, as many as 3 to 6 in some areas. But the wind is a major concern, Bray. You're talking about 50 to 65 mile an hour winds. If people lose power and cannot watch, forget about tomorrow's games, cannot watch Sunday night's game, Lions and Rams, this would be the biggest event in DTE history.
And as you always talk about, thank God for those generators that we purchased. They suck when you buy them, but once you have them, they do the job. The only people that will win would be bars, Ryan and Monty, because that would be where you have to go. But if there's no power, I was about to say, what do?
I don't even know how to hook one up.
I mean, you better hope you live off one of those hospital grids. Like, what do you do if there's no power? Like, can you imagine the game? The fans been waiting for this forever and ever and ever, and you can't watch.
I mean, forget about being cold too. I mean, when the wind blows that hard. I mean, I think I hate to put words in his mouth, but I think Derek Kever said at some point this weekend the real feel is going to be around -4. At some point with that wind.
It's like Pittsburgh off the water.
Forget about being cold, Maz. I mean, if you can't watch
I can't survive
football,
without electricity. You know that.
If you can't watch football, you're in for it.
I'm done. Honestly, I've told you this before. I'm not Amish. I cannot live without the comforts of home. I'm weak.
So what are we looking for?
I admit it.
Transistor radios that take batteries? Like, would that be a thing?
I mean, I don't know, man.
I'm trying to resort to my Boy Scout.
I'm already thinking of the places I can go. I'm thinking ahead. Yeah. Where can I go to watch these games? Buffalo Wild Wings. Buffalo Wild Wings is up the street.
You can go to the Hamlin Pub.
Hamlin Pub for sure. Love Hamlin Pub.
There you go.
Yeah.
You know that's one of my favorite sports bars.
I know.
Wink, wink.
That's where you'll go.
That's where I will go.
Yeah. That's where you will go.
Yes,
the Hamlin Pub.
That's right. Yeah,
that'd be crazy. But wouldn't it just be the Detroit thing to happen though? Like if it happened like that, if the set it happened, boom, no power, thousands without power, won't be able to watch the game. Wouldn't it just be like that's a typical day in Detroit, typical time in Detroit?
I guess maybe can you watch it on your phone?
Until you run out of battery.
If you have no cell service.
Will the cell service go too?
If it knocks out your Wi-Fi in your house, right? I don't know.
Personal hotspot.
Well, I can go without the Wi-Fi on my phone.
I don't
Personal
know,
hotspot.
man.
I don't even know how to do the hotspot.
I'm just saying.
I'll show you how to do it.
That
Pause.
would be an incredibly fitting way for the Lions fans
That was a good one.
to welcome in their first
When did you get
playoff
so
game
good at pause?
in
When
30
you were
years.
when you were away, me and
when you
Ryan
were
were
gone, we
pausing
nailed
everything.
it.
Jesus.
Yeah, we nailed it. Hey, couple of news and notes today. First and foremost, we will have Lomas Brown coming up in about 25 minutes from now. One of the great Lions, all-time greats in the history of the franchise in the Ring of Honor. What do they call that?
Lion Pride.
Yeah, the pride.
Lion Pride.
Also the Lions radio analyst. So Lomas Brown will join us. He was part of the last Lions team that won a playoff game. So was Eric Kramer. He was the quarterback of the Detroit Lions back in 1991 when the Lions beat the Dallas Cowboys. Eric Kramer will be live in studio with us. He has written a book about really an incredible
His life.
I mean, I don't even know how to describe it. He had a suicide attempt, and he survived that suicide attempt. And one of the things he does now is advocates for mental health. And we'll talk to him about football. We will talk to him about that book, where you could see him tonight, because he'll be in Detroit tonight, so you can head on out and see him. We'll do our pick segment as well, but we will start with the news of the day, and that is the Detroit Lions. Moments ago, well, about an hour ago, if you're watching live, Dan Campbell came to the podium, and let's just first go through the injuries, Bray.
Okay.
One of the things he was talking about was Sam Laporta. He says Laporta has gotten better every day. We'll see where that goes. Jerry Jeudy, obviously the Jerry Jeudy tweet yesterday saying, "I love you, Detroit." Came to the podium. He was very short about it. Said Jerry had a little injury. We won't make any transactions till tomorrow. Jerry Jacobs. I said Jerry Jeudy, who was a receiver for the Broncos. Jerry Jacobs. Thank you for that, Bray. And he said James Houston looks better this week than he did last week. So those three players are that. But let me start with Laporta. He also talked about this is going to literally be a game-time decision for Laporta, whether he could play or not. How difficult is that to go into a game when you don't know when you have it? This is footage of him today that you're seeing right now on the screen. Sam Laporta kind of going through individual workouts in Allen Park today. This is great stuff. But how difficult is it to go into a game when one of your really biggest playmakers, you're unsure of whether or not he can play or not? Dan Campbell said we do have a couple of different packages. We have a package with him, and we have a package without him.
Yeah, 100%. It's going to be tough regardless, because Sam Laporta, you look at 889 yards, 10 touchdowns. He's a key focal point for Jared Goff. Simply put, he makes Jared Goff's job a lot easier when he's in there. He makes Ben Johnson's job a lot easier as well. But by the same token, Ben Johnson has come a long way as an offensive play caller, and we have a couple other really good tight ends as well. So I trust Ben Johnson. I trust the packages without Sam Laporta, pause. But when you put Sam in there, he's just a difference maker. It's good to see that knee mobility. It's good to see him getting some motion in there. And really the hard part, Ryan, is Dan Campbell's a football player. Football player. So he wants to get his guy out there, but he's got to protect him at the same time. Sam Laporta, he's looking at coach, I want to play. It's going to be a tough decision. It's going to be one where Dan Campbell, you can't make the decision about now, this week against the Rams. The decision has to be the entirety of the playoff. So I think that's going to be the hard part, and we'll see how they go about doing that come this Sunday evening.
I think he suits up, like I said, all week. Whether he plays or not, couple plays, 10 plays, whatever. He's suiting up.
Yeah.
He can go out there as a decoy. He's running around on the field. He's got a brace on. He looks good to go to me.
Yep.
It's win or go home.
And I think you just hit on something very, very important, the decoy aspect of things. Now, you don't want him to get injured, but we talked to Dr. Pierce yesterday. A lot of times these things won't get worse. Like, they won't get potentially worse. So if you're not going to get worse, use him as a decoy, because people are going to focus on him. When he's in that lineup, you fear him getting the big catch, getting the touchdown. So if you use him as a decoy, it opens it up for somebody else, and that could be where they use him and save him actually for the following week.
We always talk, too, whenever there's a guy that's out, and just for the sake of the conversation, let's just say Laporta's out, even though he's not, just for the sake of the conversation. Anytime there's a position player out, you think man for man. You think if Laporta is out, well, Brock Wright has to step up, or James Mitchell has to step up, and obviously that's the case. But it's the other people around him. One of the things that Dan Campbell said today, Bray, was that he's got two of the smartest wide receivers in the league, in Amon-Ra St. Brown and Josh Reynolds. He said these two guys are some of the smartest wide receivers in the league. They can go with any package, play any position along that receiving core, and really work as that extra kind of tight end, essentially, that threat, that extra threat. How difficult is that? If you're a defensive, coach trying to stop the Lions' offense, but when you have weapons like that, that goes a long way as well.
What I've always talked about is the maturation of the process in terms of skilled players, especially with the Lions. You see it is they know the concepts. A lot of times, guys just know what they do. The X knows what the X does in certain systems. The Z knows what the Z does. But in this offense, Amon-Ra St. Brown knows what everybody's doing on that offense, and so does Josh Reynolds, and so does Sam Laporta, and so does David Montgomery. So if you got guys that can fill in those 31 packages, now you can just add a wide receiver into those spaces. Now it can confuse the defense. You'll come in against those guys like, how is he going to run this? How is he going to play it? Guys a little faster, getting mismatches. It may be a situation where it could help you to a certain extent. Obviously not much, but to a certain it can help you. But having those wide receivers, it gives you free range to relax when calling plays. Ben Johnson, it gives him free range to relax, I think.
They're going to be fine. Yeah. They're going to win this game. I really feel confident. I know I don't like the matchup. No, I'd rather play another team. But we're going to beat the Rams. The Lions will beat the Rams by hook or by crook. I don't care what Matthew Stafford does in this game. The Lions are coming out in front. I don't care what the hell they call it.
The closer we do get to game time, the more confident I am in the Detroit Lions. And even when you see Dan Campbell come to the podium, and I'm going to show you a clip right now, his manner, you could tell a lot in body language, right? You could tell a lot. To me, I look at the way Dan Campbell comes to the podium, and he just looks so confident.
Would you feel more comfortable if Sam Laporta was announced out tomorrow or right before kickoff?
I am comfortable with whatever they decide to do because I understand that they are so methodical in everything they do. They're so intentional everything they do. Absolutely. Yeah. Take a look at this is Dan Campbell earlier today talking about what this game means to the city of Detroit, what this atmosphere will be like. We're all talking about this is 30 years since they've hosted a playoff game, 32 years since they've won, or it's 1991 since they've won a playoff game. Never at Ford Field history have they had a playoff game. Here's what Dan Campbell said, what the atmosphere he expects.
This is 3 years ago, thinking about what this was going to be like and what it could be like. And now it's here. And so I know exactly what it's going to look like. I've seen it in my head. It's going to be different than anybody's seen. I think this is going to be one of the most electric environments, atmospheres that you're going to find. And I think it's going to be an advantage.
That's a very calm, intentional head coach right there.
100%. You can tell he's talked to a couple of his mentors, but at the same time, he's telling you the truth. We've talked about this on the show numerous times. They said it'd be a 3-year process. He said, we'll get there. It's just going to take 3 years. And it almost was in year 2. So here they are. He's already seen it. When you've seen something, you visualize it over and over and over. The closer you get to it, you're like, well, this is just another visualization what I've already seen coming to fruition. So I'm excited for Dan Campbell. I'm excited for this team. But, Ryan, you bring up a good point. It goes back to when they lost that game against Dallas. Remember how calm he was? He was excited. But remember how calm he was at the podium that Monday after the Dallas game? Like everybody else in the city.
He was steamed.
He was steamed, but at the same time, he wasn't worried. He wasn't pressed. And I said this could actually catapult them to some extent. And I think that's now what you're seeing. You're seeing the calm before the storm, but the storm is the Detroit Lions against the Rams. And the Detroit Lions, they're going to be prepared because Dan Campbell has bust his ass to get to this point.
Every time I see that guy, I'm just so thankful as a football fan that he's my coach. I wouldn't want any other coach except Dan Campbell.
No other coach in the NFL I'd rather have than Dan Campbell right now, without question.
Me
Guys, are you tired of wearing the same old Detroit sports merch? It's a new era in sports wearables. New designs, amazing apparel, the ultimate swag. Check out Woodward Sports' latest gear at woodwardsports.com. Click shop. Hoodies, tees, hats, all guaranteed to turn heads. That's woodwardsports.com. Click on the shop tab. We will be right back. Amon-Ra St. Brown and Dan Campbell talk about what it would mean for Jared Goff to beat his former team. We'll have that next. Be right back.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot off the press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Dreaming of a new home but feeling the financial pinch? Mark White and Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's right, I said $5,000. Call Mark White and Associates today at 248-290-8242 or visit them at markwhitesells.com. Again, call Mark White today at 248-290-8242 and make your home buying dreams come true. And now back to Ermanni and Edwards with Maz.
All right, guys. So, obviously, big game this weekend. It is quietly a huge game for Jared Goff. And we've talked about this a little bit over the week. It is this redemption game for Jared Goff. Everybody's talking about Stafford coming home to Detroit. But what about Goff? He was the one that the LA Rams said couldn't win us a Super Bowl. He was the guy that got shipped out because they needed a better quarterback. What's this game going to be like for him? Braylon, Amon-Ra St. Brown talked about that earlier this week. I want you to hear this. Then we're going to follow that up with what Dan Campbell had to say today.
Personally, for me, yeah, I definitely do. As a team, we want to win. Obviously, it's not about Stafford or Jared. It's about this team and taking 1 week at a time. But if you ask me personally, I definitely want to win. Win it for him because I know. He might not tell the media or what, but I think it's within every player. You come from a team that, first-round pick, went to the Super Bowl, and then gets traded. If you ask anyone, they're going to feel some type of way. So, for me, I want to go win it for him. It fires me up that he's playing his old team. I'm excited for him. And shoot, I want to do it for him as much.
I don't think that this isn't. We're standing up there and win one for the Gipper. It's. But at the same token, I think we all know what this is. We want to win for us. We all want it. We want this for us, and we want it for Detroit. But also, hey, man, that'd be special. That would be special. That's icing on the cake, if you will.
I want to work backwards on those clips. I want to start with Dan Campbell saying, look, this isn't a win one for the Gipper speech. We want to win one for us. Dan Campbell is doing an excellent job of keeping the Lions and everybody focused. Mm-hmm. Yes, we want to win for Jared Goff. Yes, this will mean a lot for us. And yeah, we want to play for Jared Goff. But at the same time, we want to win for us. We want to win for the 61 in this squad. We want to win for the coaching staff. So I love the fact that Dan Campbell's keeping everybody on laser focus. Now, going back to what Amon-Ra St. Brown said, he's absolutely right. And just think of Jared Goff's psyche. He goes 11-4. He goes 13-3. Gets to the Super Bowl. 9-7. 9-6. Gets hurt. They go to the playoffs all 4 of those years. And then he's suddenly told he's not good enough. Then he's suddenly traded in the middle of the night. I don't care how nice you are, and I keep saying it. I don't care how nice you are. It makes you feel some type of way. So here he is. If you're just a regular, the human nature allows doubt to creep in. You can be Jared Goff and start to have a bad game, let's say in the past, and you start to think about maybe this is why I was let go. Maybe this is why Sean McVay felt that way. Or maybe this is why. What this game is going to be for Jared Goff, I think, is going to be an overcoming. And once he goes out there, once he beats Stafford head-to-head, once he sticks it to his former coach in the Rams, I think now he's on to the next chapter, and that chapter is going to be powerful. It's going to give him all the confidence that he finally needs to be the quarterback in the future for the Detroit Lions. This is going to be a major game for him, but the good thing about it is he's got guys backing him up the whole Honolulu Blue and Silver. I'm excited.
Listen, guys, when you play for the Super Bowl, that's the biggest game of your career.
It is.
This is the second most important game of his career, hands down. He went to the Super Bowl. They lost it. Patriots' defense was too much. This is the second most important game in his life. He's playing for his next contract. On top of it all, you want to beat the Rams, beat Sean McVay, outduel Matthew Stafford. That's one thing. He's playing for the money, man. He's got a lot riding on this game. I hope his shoulders are big enough, and I think they are. This is a guy that's never wavered once this year.
But his shoulders are big enough, but they don't have to necessarily be that mad because the city is behind him, too. How many people have argued you say anything about Jared Goff?
Of course.
They will fight you. The city of Detroit has backed him as one of their own now. They back this whole team as their own because they are their own team. The villains, grit, the whole 9 yards. He doesn't have to throw it all on his shoulders because he's got a squad, he's got a team, he's got players, he's got a coach, and he's got the whole city of Detroit and the whole state of Michigan right there behind him.
I have no doubt they're winning this game.
I don't either. I will say this, though. I don't care how much money you have. Making more is always pretty important.
Damn right.
I'm going to give credit to El Gato here in the chat because he posted this in the chat. I literally had a conversation with a friend of mine an hour before the show today and said these exact same 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 words. It's a $50 million game for Goff. This one game is worth $50 million for him a year. This is a
200.
This is at least a 3-year, $140 to $150 million game.
Yeah.
If he wins this game, he at least is signing 2 years, $100 million.
Yeah.
Or 3 years, $145, or something like that. That's how much this game is worth to Jared Goff. And I know Lions fans don't care about this, but when you're talking specifically what does this one game mean to a player, Maz called it the second biggest game of his career. I might even say this is the biggest game of his career.
It is. Yeah, I think so. Because
Super Bowl is number one. Your first Super Bowl.
Fair enough.
This for sure now going forward is the biggest game of the remaining part
Fair
of his
enough.
life.
Just, kind of be embellishing a point.
Of course.
Yeah, but I won't even say it's a points embellished because as you move forward in life, things change. What becomes important, it moves further and further away. That was year 3 when he went to the Super Bowl. Here we are in year 6, and now this game is not only for the $150 million. It's for Jared Goff too. It's for him to say, "I told you so." In the words of us at this show, "I told you so." It's gonna be fun to see what happens. But he's built for this. He's built for this. The team is built for this. It's going to be fun to watch. I just can't wait till he goes there and silence all the haters, including myself 2 years ago.
Speaking of silencing all the haters, how about CJ GJ? I absolutely love this guy.
My guy.
There is nobody better than this guy. Every team needs a guy. Every team needs the bad guy, essentially.
Yeah.
And that's what this guy has been to all the other teams. He is gonna call you out. He is going to talk his trash, and then he's going to go on the field and he's going to back it up. Here's what CJ GJ had to say about playing in the postseason. I believe there might be a curse word in here, so we apologize for that. But here it is. Let it ride.
That's go for both teams and teammates and opposing teams. No matter what you did last week, playoff, some people got 0 stats in playoff on this team. If you really look their stats up in the postseason, some of these guys don't have postseason stats. Some do. So, in order to put that in the back of your mind, you got to think of what's the bigger goal. Stats or get to the next round. You know what I'm saying? Matchups or get to the next round. So I think being a playoff vet, I'm just here to let them guys know that this shit is not going to be easy. Atmosphere different, air thicker, fans a little bit louder. We want to go home. It ain't win, come back, game plans. We want to go home.
Isn't this game one of the reasons why they brought you here?
You know, they brought me here to win the Super Bowl. They ain't bring me here to make no fucking playoffs.
As someone who
You can't win without guys like that.
Can't.
You cannot win without guys
Totally
like
agree.
that. Every time I was on a winning team, I could tell you, guy Patrick Willis, same stuff. He's gonna hold you accountable. He's gonna let you know what it is. He's gonna talk that realty. He's gonna talk that stuff. Earl Thomas, when I was with the Seahawks. CJGJ is Bart Scott. When I was with the New York Jets, he talks way too much, but he talks as he's supposed to. CJGJ is telling those guys, get ready for war. This is what it's gonna be like. That's why Maz wanted him. Thank you, Maz.
Thank you.
Because you put that energy out there and we got him.
Yep.
This is what you need. He just came from the Super Bowl. Why is his team faltering in the back end? Because they don't have CJGJ.
Facts.
They don't have a guy that can held them accountable. Because when you gloss over things, that's when you lose. He won't allow you to gloss over things. I think he's going to be a stride for stride with his whole defense. And a guy like that, he doesn't just motivate his side of the ball. CJGJ will motivate the offensive side of the ball as well. Guys like that are why you win championships.
I already mentioned to you, I want him re-signed. I said at the beginning of the year when he got hurt, and I'm saying it again now.
Same.
And I know they got to pay everybody. I know that. Yeah. But I'm paying that guy, and I'm keeping that guy here.
That's one of those guys you pay.
Yep.
I gave you a little bit of pushback on that. Not much, just pause. But I paused, literally in the sense of the word. Said I wanted to see what the salary, all that stuff. I kind of agree with you now. That's just one of those guys you got to keep here. But have you noticed through all of these interviews who the one guy that keeps downplaying this game is? It's CJ Gardner Johnson. Why? Because he's been to a Super Bowl.
Yep.
He's the one guy that isn't like, oh, rah, atmosphere is going to be fun. Oh, great. Home game, division champs. Great. He's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Home game, playoff, wild card game.
Banner.
We're trying to get to the Super Bowl here. This isn't a participation trophy. This is fine. This is a step in getting here. But he's the one guy that's talking like that because he's the one guy that's been there recently.
What?
You know, and I know Goff aside, but he's the one guy that's been there. And as Dan Miller pointed out, Jim Schwartz had this beautiful line back in 2011 when the Lions made the playoffs after being 0-16 3 years earlier. He sent the players in the locker room out to do a lap around the field to high five and wave to the fans and clap for the fans and do all that stuff. And he said, there will be a time in this franchise when we're not happy about making the playoffs. But that time is not now. Appreciate what you've done. And I think that's what most of us are doing here, is appreciating this moment in Lions franchise history. But for CJ Gardner Johnson, he is the one guy that is keeping everybody even keel a little bit and saying, guys, this is nice, but there's way more to do. I didn't come here to win a playoff game. I came here to win a Super Bowl.
I never forget when I went to my first playoff game when I was with the Jets, 2009. Great job, by the way, Ryan.
I remember that year.
Great job. We're playing the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm excited to make the playoffs with the Jets, and we're talking amongst ourselves over dinner. This is in Cincinnati at Ruth Chris. And we're talking, I'm like, man, I'm just happy to be in the playoffs. It's go time. Like, you about to get that playoff check. We're excited to see what the next round could be. Damian Woody, who's a friend of the show, shout out to Big Bro. Damian Woody was like, you just excited to be here. Like, he went in on myself, Kerry Rhodes, a couple other people that were at the dinner table. He went in on us because he's crossed that finish line. He's been to the dance. He's won multiple Super Bowls, but also he understood this is just a stepping stone to what we ultimately do. We didn't go through training camp, and we didn't go through hell with Rex Ryan just to get to Cincinnati in the first round of the playoff. So I definitely understand that energy. Damian Woody lit into us, and it turned the energy around for the guys that had never been to the playoffs. For the young guys on the offense, I now was like, okay, job's not done, as we say at U of M. You got to keep going. So that energy right there, like you said, I keep saying, I don't know how many ways to tell you, that energy is electric, and that's how you maintain, that's how you stay focused, and that's how you get to the next round, and then the next round, and then the next round, and then you host a trophy.
That's why I got no doubt this week.
No.
I got no doubt.
Very good. We hope so. We hope you're right. Guy's expected to be joined by one of the Lions' greats. He's in the Lions' pride, as they say at Ford Field. He will join us. Lions radio analyst Lomas Brown will join us next. But first, a message from Planet Fitness.
Yes, Planet Fitness is your home of the judgment-free zone where anyone, and I mean anyone, can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. At Planet Fitness, you'll experience a squeaky clean gym, tons of equipment, a full body workout in just 30 minutes, and all memberships include fitness training. You get all this just for $10 a month with no commitment. Remember, no matter where you are, there is always a Planet Fitness nearby with more than 50 in the Metro Detroit area and thousands more throughout the world. Find your local Planet Fitness today to join or visit them online at planetfitness.com.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Your home is your most important asset. Flexibility in the sales process is key. When you work with Mark White & Associates, you can cancel at any time, for any reason, without penalty. Speaking of flexibility, check this out. Who you work with matters. Hire the best broker in the game.
Hey guys, give your pet the best. Give them PremierPetSupply.com. Do not cheat your pet. You know it. They're family owned and operated for over 30 years. 13 Metro Detroit locations. Curbside delivery if you need it. Over 60 brands of food with nutritionists that will go over a plan for your animal. Give them a call today. Pet Supply Plus. Oh my God. It is PremierPetSupply.com. PremierPetSupply.com. Sorry about that.
All right, gang, we're going to get right to some more Lions talk with one of the great Lions of all time. He is a current Lions radio analyst. Lomas Brown joins us now live. Lomas, have you been able to contain your excitement for this week? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. I'm at the Ultimate Fishing Show here at the Novi Show Place, so that's why it looks this way. But, hey, look. I've had this nervous energy for about a week now, and wow, I'm just a little nervous about Matthew coming back here and facing our Lions. I got confidence in the Lions, but man, Matthew Stafford and that LA team, they scare me a little bit.
Hey, Long, for a second when I was looking at the curtains, I said, oh, he's about to be unveiled as Hall of Fame, baby. I was waiting for it. You know, the last time the Detroit Lions won a playoff game, you were on that team. Just talk about that energy after you guys won it for the city who hadn't won it before that for a very long time. Talk about that energy and what these guys are feeling.
Yeah, it's great, man. It really is, Braylon. It's great how the city has embraced these guys. It's great how Dan Campbell and that whole coaching staff, the organization, they put a team out there. They put some guys out there, some resilient guys that are really being able to get it done. And I think for me, probably the most impressive thing is that these guys are so young. This window of opportunity should be open for a while for the Detroit Lions. So that's why I think the fans here, they're so excited about what's going on. They're embracing what's going on with the Lions. And I really think they're looking forward to it. I think that same old Lions, I think that's buried for good from now on here in Detroit.
Hey, Lone, let me ask you one more question. You know, you talk about guys that have that electricity, guys that get you going. Benny Blades is one of those guys. Brett Perriman was one of those guys. We just talked about C.J. Gardner-Johnson. How important is he, not just on the field, but the energy, the way he talks to the media, the way he talks to the players? How important is he for this team?
You're right, Braylon, man. He brings that confidence. He really does. He's that brash guy. He's that cocky guy. But he's that guy that team makes respect because they see him go out there and get it done. CJ, to me, man, he is the emotional leader. He's the guy that gets those guys gets those guys fired up. He's the guy if you need someone to deliver the tough, hard hit, to get the excitement going, he can do that. And I'm just so happy he's back. I'm so happy he's back with the team in that locker room. I just think he brings so much to this team, even with his Super Bowl experience he has. And we know we don't have a lot of guys in that locker room with that experience. So the more guys, the more voices that these guys can hear that's been there, done that, I think it bodes well for the team.
Hey, Lo, it's Maz. Thanks again for coming on with us. We love you, man. Go Lions.
Got you, Maz.
Hey, man, what's going through Jared Goff's mind in this game? Not only does he have to win a playoff game for Detroit, but he is playing maybe for his future here in Detroit as well. What's his feelings right now?
You know what, Maz? If it was me and I'm not Jared, I wouldn't put too much on him. I don't think you go in carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. Yeah, he has a lot of things that's really, it's going to be pivotal for Jared to have a good playoff run. I know contract and everything else, perception, just everything else. But I don't think you put all that pressure on your shoulders going into a game like this, because what that does to me, it tightens me up. And I think a lot of guys, you get tight when you start worrying about things you can't control, which is his contract, where he's going to be. Those are things that Jared has no control over. What he has control over is how he plays on Sunday and what he can bring to this team to help this team win its first playoff game in 30-some-odd years.
Hey, in a little bit, Lo, we're going to have one of your old teammates come into the studio. His name is Eric Kramer, the last quarterback to win a game and for the playoffs for Detroit. What kind of guy was Eric Kramer for this team?
So all you got to do is just tell him, call him Brass when you see him.
Yep.
And he'll know who you talk to because, hey, man, this dude here, he got that nickname because Wayne would send in a play, and Eric wouldn't like the play, and he would audible out the play. And, he would do it, and Wayne would meet him on the sideline. Eric, damn it, run the play, I say run. They'll send another play Eric didn't like. He would change it again. So we just started calling him Brass for brass balls. He had some big ones. Yeah, man, he had some big ones on him. So that's how he get the Brass nickname. Yeah. But a great guy, a guy that you guys know went through a lot with his son dying and, him trying to commit suicide. But, man, has made a 180 flip, has gotten himself together. Now he's out inspiring people by the book that he's written. He's a great guy, man. I wish we wouldn't have lost him in 91 because I felt he should have kept leading our team. But you know how things happen, man. But you guys are a quality guy that you guys are getting ready to interview.
Hey, Lomas, it's Dan Campbell earlier today at the podium said Sam Laporta has gotten better every day. We'll see where it goes. Truly is a game-time decision. What would it mean to the Lions offense if he can play? And what would it mean to the Lions offense if he can't play?
Yeah, man, he means so much. If you think about everything they have Sam doing. They have Sam blocking. Not only blocking, he has to block defensive ends. He has to block defensive tackles. They have him constantly in motion. It seems like every offensive play they run, he's moving in motion. They got him tight to the line. They got him in the slot. They have him out wide. They'll have him in the backfield. They ask this young man to do so much and put so much on this plate. That's why I know it would be a huge, huge loss for him not to play. And I just think it would shorten up our playbook. I think it would kind of take that threat, that tight end threat out the game plan. It's just so many things I think will be a trickle-down effect to us not having Sam Laporta in the lineup on Sunday.
Lomas, there's so many battles within this game, whether it's Ben Johnson versus Sean McVay, whether it's Penei Sewell in the offensive line versus Aaron Donald, and that young D tackle they got, that guy inside.
That's Kobe.
Hey, he's a bad boy. He's a bad boy.
He is.
You got the wide receiver core for the Rams. You got the wide receiver core for the Lions. What is the matchup that you are most intrigued on watching on Sunday night?
And see, Braylon, that's why I'm nervous. Man, just think of some of these matchups that you've mentioned. And everything. It is the one you mentioned with the young fella, Kobe Turner. Him going up against Frank Ragnow and our Jonah Jackson and going up with Graham Glasgow. Him and Aaron Donald, because Aaron Donald is still there.
Last time I checked.
That's when your stars, that's right, bro. That's when your stars come to the top, is when you get in crunch situations, when you're in playoff situations. So to me, if they can't get any interior push, any interior pressure on Jared, I think Jared's going to be all right back there in that pocket. That's the one that I'm looking at the most. And then the other one, Braylon, I'm looking at is their kicking game, because they've missed like 15 kicks this whole year. So, and you know how important that comes down to in playoff games. So I wonder how Sean McVay is going to play things, whether he'll kick a field goal, whether he'll go for it. You know, those are the little things that I'm going to look at, especially when it comes down to the kicking game too.
It's a great follow to my next question. How do you think Dan Campbell adapts to a playoff game, Lomas? Because we know he's like a gambling man out there, but this is the playoffs, and 3 points does matter. Punting does matter sometimes. It's great to go for it and all that stuff, but man, a field goal could be extremely valuable in different spots.
You need a kicker, though.
How do you think he approaches this game?
No. Man, Maz is crazy.
Wild. Maz wild.
Sorry, been saying it all year.
But
hey, Maz, I'm with you, man. I mean, I hope it doesn't come down to we have to rely on this guy to kick us a 50-yarder because, hell, he's been missing some of these extra points. And what are those, 35, 40-yarders? So I'm kind of with you on that. But to answer your question, what I think Dan Campbell's going to do, I think he's going to revert back, or he's going to tune in his inner Sean Payton, his inner Bill Parcells. Some of those great coaches that he played with and that he played for, I think he's going to go back to that because he knows how important these playoffs are. This is sudden death, man. You lose this, we're out. It's over with. And I don't know if he's going to be willing to take some of the chances that he took during the season. I just think he reflects back on some of the great coaches that he played for and played under, and he would probably say, what would they do? And some of the sensible things that they do is take the points. Whenever you got an opportunity to take points, you have to take the points.
Hey, Lomas, in continuing to talk about matchups in this one, obviously, Matthew Stafford against the Lions secondary is a big one. In 2 games within the last month, Nick Mullins, not Joe Montana, Nick Mullins has thrown for 807 yards in 2 games over the last month. What can the Lions defense do to stop or slow down Matthew Stafford? Maybe you get Houston back. Aleem McNeil's back now with a game. So CJ GJ has a game under his belt. Is that what matters here to this defense?
They are. They're going to have to switch it up. It's no way that I think we could just rush 4 guys and have success against Matthew Stafford. Now, the biggest thing is when you blitz them, and Braylon knows this, you got to disguise those blitzes.
Yeah.
Because if you let a veteran quarterback like Matthew Stafford see that blitz coming, he's going to hit his blitz pickups. He's going to hit his hot
to the
reads.
Super Bowl.
He's going to make you pay. Yeah. And Braylon,
against
you
Tampa.
are so right.
Against Tampa.
Thank you. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So you can't. Like, when Aaron Glenn wants to bring it, like I said, we're going to have to disguise it, but I do think we're going to have to bring pressure, man. I think the only way our secondary is going to have success against those receivers is we're going to have to push Matthew off his spot. We're going to have to make him move around. He can't be comfortable back there because if he gets comfortable back there, he's going to hurt us because I think individually those receivers that they have, man, they got 2 of the top receivers in this league, and this young guy Puka, And then you got Cooper Kupp, the triple threat, triple crown winner. Isn't that what you call it, Braylon? The triple
100%.
crown winner that he won?
Last one to win it,
man,
Calvin
we
Johnson.
got to be on code. That's right.
Hey, Lomas, tell the fans where they can come see you. You're out there at the Suburban Collection Showplace, the Ultimate Fishing Show. What's going on out there? What do you got going on?
So I got 2 places a day. I'm out here till 4 o'clock.
That boy working.
At the Novi Showplace. Yeah, they working the big fella, man. they paying the big fella too, though. But Braylon, they fattening the pockets too.
Hey,
so
as they should.
Absolutely. So I'll be out here till 4 o'clock at the Novi Showplace. Then I'm heading over to the Gardner White on Hall Road, where I'm gonna meet Herman Moore, Corey Schlesinger, Eddie Murray, and Tim Walton. We have a tailgate.
Oh Lord, not Tim.
At the go. Yeah, yes, Braylon. So you already know, Braylon. And I got to deal with Herman too. Don't forget Herman
missing
now.
no checks. Herman missing no checks. Let me stop.
Right,
Let me stop.
Hey, hello, great stuff, man. Enjoy the events. Enjoy the weekend. Thanks so much for giving us a couple of minutes here. Thanks, buddy.
Hey, anytime, fellas.
Love you, big
Take
bro.
care.
You got it. Thanks. The great Lomas Brown, everybody. Great stuff there. No doubt about it. All right, guys, we'll take a break. Come right back. There is breaking news in college football. We'll get to that next. Stay right there. Woodward Sports.
Have you ever wanted a bar where you're a regular? We have just the place for you. Head to one of Hamlin Pub's 7 locations and experience where everyone is a regular. Whether you're enjoying half-off pizza on a Thursday or game day specials available during all Michigan sports and NFL games, Hamlin Pub is the place. Visit a location today and experience your new favorite pub for all things sports.
Have you ever wondered where all the finest restaurants get their steaks? It's Fairway Packing Company, providing Michigan restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef for over 60 years. But now you can buy these cuts of meat for yourself at the Steak Shop by Fairway Packing Company. Prime porterhouse, A5 Japanese New York strip steak, dry-aged Wagyu beef tomahawk. Delicious. Get to the Steak Shop today. Enjoy fine wine, have a private party, and get the finest cuts of meat anywhere. The Steak Shop on Mack Avenue in Grosse Pointe Woods, or order online, fairwaypacking.com.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists, and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. That's right, college basketball's most elite event. You and your 5 best friends just get to any Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically register to win the trip of your dreams. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Hey, are you tired of the same old Detroit sports merch? It's a new era in sports wearables, new designs, amazing apparel, the ultimate swag. Check out Woodward Sports' latest gear at woodwardsports.com. Click on shop. Hoodies, tees, hats, all guaranteed to turn heads. Get the latest designs today at woodwardsports.com. Click on the shop tab. All right, guys, breaking news in college football. This happened about 30 or 40 minutes ago if you're watching live.
I knew it.
It appears that the University of Alabama has their next head coach. He is Kalen DeBoer, the head coach of the University of Washington, lost to Michigan in the national title game. He was actually in a coach with Chris Creighton at Eastern.
Yep. Do you know he canceled his morning show today? I'm like, that's that. Canceled his morning show on Washington radio. I'm like, he's going to Bama.
Yeah, I think this is a smart move for Alabama. I think this is a smart move for Kalen DeBoer as well. You look at what he did last year; he was 11-2. This year, he was 14-1. You got to strike while the iron's hot, and I don't think he'll be able to sustain that type of success at Washington with things moving to the Big Ten and it opening up to a 12-team playoff. And also in Alabama, I think it's a very good move. Staying away from Lane Kiffin, staying away from insert Alabama crony that you want to bring in to try to be the next Nick Saban. Remember, before Nick Saban took over, Maz, he wasn't an Alabama guy. He was an outside guy. So I think when you're coming from situations like this and another one in the NFL that we'll talk about later, I think sometimes it's prominent to go outside, especially a guy that is a damn good coach in Kalen DeBoer. And also, he still has the recruiting class that Nick Saban has put in place for the last 3 years. So he's got a ton of five-star talent. He's got a lot of good players. And I think as a coach like him, with a quarterback in Jalen Milroe, who will be returning and probably get better in the offseason, this is a smart move for Alabama and a damn smart move for DeBoer.
Maybe Michael Penix will come back for a 10th year and go to Alabama.
Not after that Michigan game.
He couldn't beat the Big Ten, right? So he's like, I'm getting the hell out of here.
Well, yeah, and it is interesting to see now what will happen at Washington, because Washington, to me,
it's a great location.
It's a great location. It's a great school, but they've been down for damn near 25 years before he was there. I mean, I think they mixed in a good year here and there.
Jake Browning got to the playoffs once.
But they weren't some juggernaut. They've had a good team here and there, but it wasn't anything that's consistent. And maybe he's just like, I can't do it there at Washington. He's 49 years old.
Young guy.
He's kind of like in this, and we talked about this yesterday, there are no legends in college football left, it seems like. You know, and everybody's getting younger. Kalen DeBoer going to go to Alabama, and he could be there for the next 20 years.
He struck while the iron is hot.
Yep.
That's it.
That's what you have to do.
Yep, that's what you got to do.
I'll say this. Did you hear what Paul Feinbaum had to say about Nick Saban yesterday?
Did he call him a wimp for losing to Michigan?
No, but it was really interesting because
now.
I will say that when Feinbaum talks about the SEC or talks about Alabama or talks about Saban, I do take his word as not gospel, but I take his word pretty seriously.
As you should.
He said that Nick Saban, about a year ago, called him up and told him that he disagreed with Feinbaum's stance on NIL. Because Feinbaum was all for NIL and thinks of this, that, and the other thing. And Saban was so emphatic, he hated NIL.
Good for him.
He said he talked about how there was, remember the game last year, Alabama and LSU?
100.
And LSU went for 2 in Baton Rouge and ultimately won. The wide receiver that caught that ball was an Alabama recruit and committed to Alabama and wanted millions of dollars from Alabama. And Saban said no. And that was the guy that ultimately beat them.
Yeah.
And he said, I cannot live in this world. I cannot live in this world where I have to pay players millions of dollars. I can't live in that world. And I think that caught up to him. I think that caught up to him. And he just couldn't do it. He talked about how this year was more grueling than any other year.
Yeah.
And I think that's why. Because the type of recruiting that needed to take place, and there will be all of the people out there that say, oh, yeah, well, everybody's on the same playing field as Alabama now. They've been paying players for years and this, that, and the other thing. And maybe that's true. I don't know how that goes or anything like that. But for Saban, it almost feels like that's why it was so grueling, because he just couldn't, like I said, live in that world.
Yeah, I mean, I think that happens in the professional level. I think it happens at the collegiate level. As the game changes, those guys have been titans of the industry. You know, they start to look at the game different. Like, I don't like the changes that are happening. And nowadays, things are happening so fast. At least back when we did the analogy yesterday, Ryan, which I thought was amazing, where we talked about Tom Landry and Jimmy Johnson. At least things was kind of happening. They were happening a little bit faster. San Francisco, we talked about that. But now, the landscape from 2023 won't be the same in 2024. The landscape in 2024 won't be the same in 2025. And I think where you're a legend, you're a guy, Nick Saban, who's 69 or 70 years old, and he's done it all.
I think he's 72.
72, my apologies. I gave him 3 years, and he's still the GOAT. You're just like, you know what? this was a good one. It was grueling. We got to the college football playoffs. I've already set my mind a year and a half ago that this was it for me, and he stood on it. He stood on business, and he's gonna go out the GOAT.
And you put out something today on Twitter that I caught up to. It's Tom Rinaldi doing about a 4-minute soliloquy to Nick Saban, and it is outstanding.
I had goosebumps the minute he opened up his mouth.
It made me
pause.
It made me love Nick Saban. I've never loved Nick Saban.
I know.
I love Nick Saban. I love that kind of guy. They're dinosaurs, and like you said, they're few and far between now. And once Jim Harbaugh leaves college, if he does, who the hell else is around to hold it up? I don't know.
I started liking Nick Saban maybe after he's won so many, I can't remember which one it was. Maybe after his first one, and then maybe after his fourth one. Because you have this projection of who Nick Saban is. You got the stern face. He's always serious, all about business. When he doused him with the Gatorade, he's almost like, damn, why did you do that? But you saw the change in him. Like, he changed. You see the players, how they react to him. Then they start doing those pieces when he's at his house. I don't know where that home is, off the water where he fishes, and they interview him there once a year, ESPN does. And you just see this different person. And I said, Saban's not what I thought he was. Saban's not what you think he is. Meanwhile, adversely, his best friend, Bill Belichick, he's exactly who I thought he was. I never liked Bill Belichick. And I respect him because I played against him, but I never liked him. Saban's the one that eventually won me over. And I think it's after they beat Clemson. That's what it was when Clemson almost came back the first time and they beat Clemson. And you just see this elation. You're like, I didn't know the old man smiled. Mm-hmm. And I think he evolved with the game, and he did a great job of adapting, whether it was Michigan State, then LSU, and then coming back from the Dolphins and getting to the Crimson Tide, winning there, adapting with the college football playoff system after losing to Ohio State. You saw all the adaptations. Finally, it just got to a place where he said, I just can't adapt anymore. How many times do you want me to adapt? And rightfully so.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. Yeah. And I think DeBoer will be a good coach at Alabama. I mean, you saw what he was able to do. If you get a quarterback, Washington was 4-8 2 years ago.
And 11-2.
DeBoer gets a quarterback, and he's 11-2, 14-0.
They're a well-coached team. You can even watch the Michigan game. Michigan's a better team than anybody else in the country, but Washington was in that game. They were well-coached. They had opportunities. They missed some opportunities, but they were well-coached. And I think that's all Alabama needed to see, to say, look, they lost, but that guy did a damn good job coaching. It just didn't play out the way that they wanted.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens at Michigan tomorrow. I think tomorrow is going to be a really interesting day at the University of Michigan with the parade
Starts
tomorrow.
At 4.
And I don't know about the weather. Yeah. I don't know how many people. I love the University of Michigan. I love Team 144. There is no way I'd be sitting outside in this wind or this rain or this snow. So I'm not sure what kind of crowd they're going to get tomorrow in Ann Arbor. A 4 o'clock parade through Ann Arbor, then a 7 o'clock rally, essentially, at the Chrysler Center. Now that one might be well attended by students and some season ticket holders, but if it's this crappy outside, I don't know who they're going to be waving to up and down State Street.
You're absolutely correct, but once again, Ryan, I just see it as what it is. I see it as it's a fan base that has been waiting for this and supporting this for a long time. A lot of down years, and it's a lot of young. It's a lot of young energy up there in Ann Arbor. It's a lot of young energy around that area that will drive up there, that want to be up there, and then they can also go inside at 7 o'clock and cheer as well. So. Hey, look, man, you know how you counteract the cold, right? And these kids are 19, 20, 21, 22. Put a couple drinks in those 21 and ups, by the way. Get that out there. Drink responsibly. They can maintain. They can make it work.
And not only that, but I think tomorrow's going to be a big day for the future of Michigan football. Yeah. I think we're going to learn not so much Jim Harbaugh, because I'm sure it'll be a little bit of a contractual push and pull with the NFL, what he's able to get in his contract at the University of Michigan. But I think we're going to learn tomorrow whether or not J.J. McCarthy is coming back. If J.J. comes back, I think that only means that Harbaugh will come back. That's first and foremost. But we'll learn that tomorrow, I think.
I'm going to make a prediction on 4. You ready?
Yep.
Should I make it now?
Please.
Jim leaves. Sharon takes over. Donovan leaves. JJ stays. That's what I think is going to happen. I think Jim leaves. I think JJ stays because he's going to stay with Sharon, someone that he trusts, someone that has groomed him. His 3-year starting or 2-year starting and 3 years playing. And I think Donovan as a running back, all you heard before the season was running backs and how that market is and how fickle it is, etc. He's not he's not going to move to wide receiver. He's a running back that plays wide receiver as well. So I think Donovan leaves, JJ stays, Sharon takes over, Jim leaves.
All right, fair enough. Hopefully you're wrong. Hopefully they all come back.
Agreed. I hope I'm wrong.
All right, guys. Hey, coming up next, we are going to be joined by former Lions quarterback Eric Kramer, the last quarterback to win a playoff game for the Detroit Lions. He will join us in studio where you can see him tonight as well. We'll do that next, but first a message from Feldman.
Feldman Chevrolet, Detroit's #1 Chevy dealer with 18 locations. That means there's a dealership near you. All you need to do is check your local neighborhood and or go to feldmanauto.com. Since 1996, Feldman Automotive has been driven to provide a fast, convenient, and first-class car buying experience, and it's called the Feldman Advantage. So do yourself a favor, take advantage.
At Planet Fitness, you can get energy without the judgment.
Hi, can you help me with this?
You don't know how to use it?
This is better.
Join now through January 12th for just 24 cents down, $10 a month. Never intimidating, always free fitness training and equipment for every workout. Join today during the Big Fitness Energy Sale for 24 cents down, $10 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends Friday, January 12th.
Over 50 Metro Detroit locations.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel. Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, 2 of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder.
No better way to get your weekend started than to heading to Fairway Packing Company for Michigan's finest steaks, prime beef, Wagyu beef, and dry-aged beef. You can experience a Fairway difference for yourself today. The top restaurants in the state of Michigan use Fairway Packing, and you could do this yourself now. Walk into the steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods for grab-and-go steaks. If you can't make it in person, they ship next day. FairwayPacking.com, FairwayPacking.com. Welcome to hour number 2 of the program. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, and Eric Kramer, the last quarterback to win a Lions playoff game, is in studio with us. Obviously, you wrote a book, Eric Kramer with William Croyle, The Ultimate Comeback Story, an incredible comeback story. Going to get to that in just a little bit. He's going to be at Tommy's Bar and Grill in Detroit tonight on 3rd Avenue as well, if you want to meet him out there. Eric Kramer, how are you, sir?
Tip top, man. Thanks for having me here. This is great to be back. In obviously snowing today, so not quite, balmy California where I'm from, but not good nonetheless.
Hey, Eric, when I say last Lions quarterback ever to win a playoff game, can you even wrap your head around that? That's still 1991.
Hard to believe it was 3 decades ago plus. But it's unfortunately that is the case. But I think that's all going to change in a couple nights.
How closely do you follow this team still?
Very. Yeah, I love it. I love the story of this team. Obviously, Jared Goff is probably the best story maybe in the NFL this year. And, basically was a throwaway for the Lions as a quarterback. And then here he's revived his career. And really, to me, is now one of the top quarterbacks in the league. And leading into the playoffs, hitting his stride.
Talking about the energy, the electricity that's going to be at Ford Field, I want to take it back to 91. Do you remember the noise in the Silverdome? What was that experience like walking out there? What was it like?
Ridiculous. I don't know how many people there, whatever it holds, that's what it held. And that's how many people were there. and everyone had the little white, whatever they were, pom-poms or something. Yeah. And it was hard to think. It was so loud. So if you're a Cowboy that day, how you communicated even to each other on the sidelines, I don't know. That was just an electric overall vibe that day.
We talked to a guy just recently before you came in, one of your former teammates, Lomas Brown, told me to tell you, he called him brass. Speaking of communication, he said, you know what? I don't like that one, Wayne. Send another one. I don't like that one, Wayne. Send another one. Was that just something you was like, I can come up with a better play?
Well, in a way, we had our offensive coordinator, Dave Levy, was good at allowing me to bring him ideas, and so we that's how it worked, kind of.
Okay.
It is you don't really take, unless you take ownership of something, it's really hard to get everybody to invest in it. And so Lomas actually gave me, Brass was a nice nickname given to me by Ken Dallafor. But Lomas actually gave me the nickname Calfless. Why? I'm not quite so sure, because if you can see here, I mean, I'm bursting, right, barely.
Eric, how close were you to staying here in Detroit?
I would have loved to have stayed here, actually. After the '93 season, I became a free agent, but never received a contract offer from the Lions. And so I don't know what their thinking was, but it certainly, I wasn't at the top of the priority list. And so when the Bears came calling, I mean, who was I to say no?
If you had stayed, do you believe you could have continued to make that run? Because that Cowboy team, you guys beat them right when they were just starting to blossom. And look what happened to them after that. You guys were called the teams of the 90s by Pat Summerall and John Madden, and only the Cowboys became that.
So, it was a team of the 90s. Unfortunately, it could have been two, because our roster very much was similar to the one that the Lions have now. And to me, the difference was this current team with Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes and the way the management and ownership is set up looks poised to make a long run for the future. Unfortunately, with our squad, everybody kind of started going in different directions. And it was the Cowboys, the Packers, the 49ers that in the NFC were the ones that said, oh, okay, we'd like to win.
Yeah. Eric, what did you make of did you see maybe you did see the Bye Bye Barry documentary and all the controversy of Wayne Font saying we would have won if we had a quarterback? And Scott Mitchell we had on our show, actually, he was pissed.
Yeah, he was.
He was pissed. What do you make of that?
Well, we had a quarterback.
Yeah, we did.
If I'm being honest with you, we could use a coach.
There it is. I love it.
Was there any good parts of Wayne?
I'm sure there were. I just don't know what parts of Wayne were good that showed up as the head coach of the Lions. I mean, if you asked me to list one, I couldn't.
What did he do wrong? What did he do to rub you the wrong way?
He didn't do anything to rub me the wrong way. I mean, he kind of, let me back up and say that with him as a head coach, nobody ever knew who was playing what, at least when it came to quarterback. And so
Rodney, Andre,
it was kind of a revolving door for some reason. I'll give you a perfect example. After that season, 91, where we beat the Cowboys and, we're one game away from the Super Bowl, we come back to training camp, mini camp, and now there's a new offensive coordinator, Dan Henning, and Wayne, and no one in the organization, not Wayne, not anyone higher up than Wayne, I received no phone call. So I showed up to minicamp at practice, not in a meeting, nothing, and I was third team.
Third team. After taking the team to the NFC Championship game.
Wow.
That's what I said. Wow.
What does that do to a player? What does that do to a team?
Well, I'll tell you what it does to a player, this one in particular. It made me lose all kinds of respect for Wayne Fontes. So when you ask me what good things about Wayne Fontes there were, that's what I would start with. Answer that question.
So there's really no secret as to why the Lions didn't win another playoff game after that year, in his tenure.
If you're asking me, there's no secret.
Yeah.
So again, match up the top teams in the 90s, right? Which were the Joe Gibbs-led White Redskins, which were the Green Bay Packers, the Cowboys, the 49ers. And then you have Wayne Fontes?
Yeah, those organizations that you just mentioned were organizationally strong from top to bottom, and then you add the situation here in Detroit. You just couldn't match up. The tail of the tape
to me,
didn't
it
match.
couldn't. But yet, if you matched up the rosters, there was not a whole lot of difference. And that's why I see this year's version of the Lions and last year going into this year completely different. Now, to me, this looks like the Lions are one of those teams that are committed from top to bottom.
You a Dan Campbell fan? I'm sorry, Braylon.
Oh no, that's all good.
Not having ever met Dan, I am a Dan Campbell fan. So you can see the way this team plays, the way he believes in the players, the way they believe in him and the staff, and even higher up. I think they're poised to be around for a while.
Yeah, Eric, you talked about the similarities in this team and 91. One of the biggest things I looked at is the offensive line and the backfield. I look at Barry, I look at Lomas, I look at that offensive line, Kevin Glover, and then I look at Frank Ragnow, I look at Jonah Jackson, I look at Panay, and I look at Jameer and David Montgomery. Just talk about the running game and the big uglies up front that really are the catalysts, in my opinion, of the Detroit Lions and their identity.
So you talked about this Lion team now. Think about this for a second. In that 91 season, we had two really good offensive guards go down. Well, sorry, excuse me. We had one in Mike Utley go down.
Yeah.
After the season, what would have been another really good yearly Pro Bowl player in addition to Mike was
Eric Andolsek.
Eric Andolsek. So no other team that I can remember from back then had two guys in 1 year, two really good players gone. And so I like you, I'm a big believer offensively in if you've got a solid offensive line, which the Lions obviously do now, that's a great thing to build an offense around. And not just offensively, defensively, they've got a lot of good young players as well.
Talking to Eric Kramer, former Lions quarterback, wrote a book, The Ultimate Comeback. We are going to talk about that book and where you can see him tonight. We'll do that next. Extremely powerful book. We'll do it, but first, a message from Swiss.
Yes, do you have football on the brain like us? Of course you do. This college football season was amazing and the NFL season is winding down, but you know what you can't wind down on? That's shopping your home and auto insurance. Shop it like a pro with the pros at Swiss Insurance. They cover us here at WSN and they should be covering you as well. Ask for Mark at Swiss Insurance today at SwissINS.com or call them at 248-800-4177. Swiss Insurance.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Savor the heart of home at Big Boy with our all-new Down Home Comfort dishes. Feast on home-style goodness with our Southern Comfort Chicken Bowl, veal parmigiana, and apple pie hotcakes. The Down Home delight doesn't stop there. Potato pancakes are back. Dive into the richness of our perfectly crafted potatoes with our classic potato pancakes and our stuffed potato pancakes. Top off your meal with our new gingerbread shake, a seamless blend of creamy vanilla and sweet gingerbread flavors. Nothing beats the comforting taste of Down Home cooking. Enjoy every bite, only at Big Boy.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Lions fans, it's the moment you all been waiting for. It's the Lions VIP tailgate. And oh, by the way, Lions are playing the first home game at Ford Field. That's right. Come on down to Eastern Market. Shed Fat. Don't worry about the weather. Just be there. Get your tickets today at bullseyeeventgroup.com. Long drink, WSN. Be there. It's going to be a lot of fun.
No doubt about it. Guys, we are fortunate enough to have Eric Kramer, former Lions quarterback, the last quarterback to win a playoff game here in Detroit. He is in Detroit. He is in studio. Wrote this book, The Ultimate Comeback. And this is a story of redemption. This is a story of really life and death. He's got an appearance tonight at Tommy's Bar and Grill on 3rd Avenue in Detroit. More on that. But Eric, first and foremost, for people who don't know your story, and you know, I'm not asking you to talk for the next 3 hours. I'm sure we can talk for the next 24 about that. But just can you share for people your journey with depression, with the suicide attempt, and you're very vocal about it. Your Twitter page, former NFL quarterback and suicide attempt survivor. Thank you for doing that, by the way, because you are helping a lot of people that struggle with mental health. Can you just talk about that?
Yeah. So, you know, my journey is not unlike other people's. We all have dreams. We all want to go places. We all work to get there. However, along the way, life happens. And so there's hurdles along the way. And depression was something that popped into my personal space when I went to Chicago. And it wasn't something that stuck around every year, but from time to time, it kind of came and it went. And so you talked about, even after done playing, I ran into some personal tragedies as well. So I had a young son, Griffin, who was only 18 at the time, that had battled for the previous couple years with a drug addiction, had gone to treatment, and upon getting out of the outpatient program, it took him about, maybe 6 months to kind of start making some poor choices once again. And so he, died of a heroin overdose. And he was 18 years old. This is in late 2011. And then my mom, she had found out she had cancer the day after Mother's Day earlier that year in May. And then she herself survived an incredible surgery, and only to have it come back. And my mom passed away a little over 8 months afterward, in July of 2012. Around that time, my dad had some untreated acid reflux become esophageal cancer, which was terminal. And so to watch him go steadily down over a course of about 3 years was tough too. And so during that time, I had forged a nice little broadcasting career with Fox, and all that kind of got swept under the rug at that time. And so that was a really tough emotional time, which led to me going down. It was the worst case of depression I had ever been in. I can't really say that there's levels to it, but
there are.
The massive loss was just a really deep black hole where nothing tasted good, felt good, no thoughts everything was bad. And what happened to me was I began looking through, I lost the aerial perspective, right? So I wish I could say I was looking through a keyhole, but there wasn't even a keyhole to look through. And so what I began doing, and this is because I was isolated and allowed to do this, was I began planning my exit. And, which I ended up doing. I ended up doing everything you would want to do to be successful at removing myself from this earth. And fortunately, it didn't work out real well. And meaning I wasn't successful, meaning I'm still here today. Yeah. So in a sense, it really did work out. But it was a long road getting there, it was a short road getting there. It was a really long road coming back. So the recovery process, when something like that occurs, then that is a long road back. So that was back in 2015. Here we are in 2024, and it was probably a good 4 or 5 years of doctors, rehab, close family and friends just being there. And here I am with a much different outlook on life than I went into 2015 with.
First of all, I appreciate your courage. Now, I appreciate that. I, too, have found myself in spaces, not necessarily as far as that, but I remember retiring. I remember things like that. I remember getting into some things because I didn't know how to necessarily deal with depression. So I really respect you, and I appreciate you and love you. In that space, I got into working in the space of mental health, though, with Eric Hipple, the NFL Alumni Association. I know you know Eric. I know you know those guys.
Right.
It's a great space to be in. I also, too, wrote a book then. I just want you to talk about how fulfilling and how relieving was writing the book, because I found myself when I wrote the book, some of the things I thought were my fault, they weren't.
Yeah.
And some of the things I thought were other people's fault weren't my fault. Just talk about that part of writing the book and finishing that journey.
Well, I think I've found a great amount of satisfaction. Thank you, Brandon, for pointing that out. But I found a tremendous amount of satisfaction I didn't know were becoming my way. And I had great help, obviously, from Bill Croyle, who co-wrote this book. And so the reaction that I have heard from other people, either whether they've written to me, talked to me, I've spoken at one time at a company that was arranged by somebody in Chicago, and the reaction that I've gotten from things just by, it was almost like I could have talked about the book or not talked about the book.
Yeah.
The fact that my story was what they wanted, they would say things like, "I can't believe you're talking about this." Why? It's the truth. It's what happened. And I think it's opened a lot of doors for people to think, wow, it's not just me. And no, it's not just you.
It's funny you say this, Eric, because I do morning television in Detroit, and I have talked about my battle with depression and that I see a therapist weekly. Braylon has been open about that. Pete Spivak over here is open about that. You're in here. I think it's almost like a snowball effect. If you look at our chat right now, people are saying, yeah, yes, me too. And it's like, what is it about guys specifically that it's so hard to talk about shit? It's so hard to talk about how you really feel about life.
Feelings, what are those?
And how powerful it is to write a book like this, say you are not alone, and talk about it.
Yeah. Well, I think you said it really well right there, is that, feelings come and go, but feelings lead to actions, good or bad. And they lead to things like me somehow thinking, I found myself isolated. That wasn't a conscious decision, but I just found it that way. And the fact that all you really need to do is, in my opinion, is observe those around you. And because everybody's always doing something and people are always observing it, we'll take note and see who of those around you are people that other people go to talk to. And okay, then you reach out to them too. People that look safe, could be a therapist, could be a friend, could be someone you don't even know, but you've observed other people, and I guarantee you, that's what I do. So I think it's an uncomplicated matter, but only made complicated by what we're afraid to go do in terms of approaching people.
I think I found for me the biggest help to get out of that space or get out of those spaces, obviously besides talking to someone, is the support I have, family, friends. I've had tremendous people in my life, whether it's my mom, my stepmom, my dad, my stepdad, my sister, the list goes on, friends, girlfriends. I've had that. Who was it that pulled you out? Who was that support that you had in that moment?
Right there.
I figured.
Honor Durgan. So we went to high school together.
Okay.
And we've been friends ever since. And so I remember Anna one time, she was taking her 2 daughters and to Hawaii for a timeshare. She said, "Why don't you come? You should come with us." And this is at a time when I was depressed. And I said, "Anna, you don't understand. Wherever I get off a plane, I'm still depressed when I get there. Like,
wherever you go,
my
you take
change
you
of
with
scenery
you.
is not going to work. It's not going to happen."
Yeah.
And she didn't. It wasn't like she didn't try, But I think like for instance, when she would always talk about, afterward my accident. When you had your accident, I said, "Anna, you don't understand. There was no accident. I planned this out."
Yeah.
Well, a couple years went by, and I'm like, you know what? You're right, because nobody in their right mind would ever plan this out.
Yeah.
So if you're not in your right mind, that's when I planned it out.
Right.
And so you're right. It was an accident. So it's not something I would do today. It's not something I'd ever do.
Yeah.
But depression for me always came with thoughts of suicide. Always. Some, like you feel so bad, you don't have any relationship to what other people think of you. And, I remember talking, and I only did this once so far, talked to this company in Chicago, and afterward, this woman comes, and we're just standing there talking, and she says, several years ago, my mom passed away, and 10 months later, my sister committed suicide. And I said, "You know what? And this is after I talked to them. I said, "You know what? That people like your sister and people like me, at the time you were depressed, if you do commit suicide and are successful at it, for you it's over. But for the people like you and your family, it's just beginning."
Yeah.
And I think that's what everybody at some point is going to feel bad, have depression, or you either are going to have it or you're going to know somebody intimately that does. And so the idea that, like you said, you've had a great support system, family members, as have I. And now, I've got a good network of folks around me that now we're all in the same boat together, meaning the same ones that were there before. As long as I'm rowing my oar, they're all rowing theirs.
Incredible stuff. We cannot thank you enough for your time.
Not at
We
all.
encourage everybody to get this book. And at the very least, if you don't know how to start a conversation with somebody that you may or may not suspect is dealing with depression, how about getting this book? And that's a great conversation starter, if nothing else. The Ultimate Comeback, Eric Kramer. We are just have incredible respect for you, sir. Thank you for sharing your story. You helped so many people. By the way, Eric tonight is going to be at Tommy's Bar and Grill in Detroit on 3rd Avenue. On Sunday, going to be at Hockeytown Cafe.
Making the rounds.
Before the Lions game, 4 to 5:30.
Yeah.
So tonight and Sunday, he'll be out there for you to go see him. Also, Bears single season and single game record for passing records. Do the Bears keep Justin Fields or do they trade him away?
If I'm the general manager, I trade him.
Right.
I get what he obviously played well enough to have some trade value now at the end of the season. But if you're asking me, the Bears right now are where the Detroit Lions were at the end of last season.
Absolutely.
They are poised. All they need is one more good draft, another round of free agency, and you know how they got Montez Sweat. He's a cap casualty. So you trade for somebody. It could be a center. It could be an edge rusher. It could be an offense. And if you trade Justin Fields, and my thought is, okay, if you've done all your research and Caleb Williams is the guy or Drake May is the guy, great. But because there's three other teams behind you that all want a quarterback also, that first round pick could turn into 3 first-round picks.
That's right.
And then you go pick, like, who wouldn't want Bo Nix right now?
Right.
Who needs a GM? Because I got the perfect guy for the job.
Right. Guys, go get the book. Anywhere
sure.
books are sold. You can see Eric tonight in Detroit on 3rd Avenue, Tommy's Bar and Grill, Sunday 4 to 5:30 at Hockeytown Cafe. Harbaugh, Jim Harbaugh. What do you think about Harbaugh?
Total thought. So my last season,
1 year with him.
Yeah. My last year was with the San Diego Chargers.
Okay.
And Jim and I were roommates in training camp, and I mean, think about everywhere he's gone.
Winner.
You name a place where he went and didn't win. Can't. So what he's going to bring to wherever he goes is, or if he stays at Michigan, obviously, he's just going to be the guy that team plays as good or better than whoever they're playing.
Eric Kramer, everybody. Thanks so much, sir. Continued success, and we hope everybody gets the book, The Ultimate Comeback. Thank you so much.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
You got it, guys. That was probably one of the most impactful 15 minutes, this segment anyway, that we have done here on Woodward Sports Network, and we're extremely grateful to do that with Eric Kramer. We're going to take a break. When we come back, more Lions Talk, our pick segment as well. Thank you, Anna, as well. Great to meet you as well. Thank you. But first, a message from Guardian Alarm. They're your local security experts and have been for over 90 years. When you see this black and yellow sign out in front of the house, it tells the bad guys one thing.
Stay out.
Whether you are at home or on the road, they're 24/7 professional monitoring, customized solutions from real experts, and technology backed by people means you are backed by the best. Call this number right here, 1-800.
Stay out.
That number again, 1-800.
Stay out.
Call them today. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
Stay out.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com. Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Hey, gang, what happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? You expand and offer more products to more people. That's exactly what Les Stanford did by adding Les Stanford Buick GMC. They offer the same great service that customers have come to know and trust. Located in Ferndale on Woodward Avenue, just south of 9 Mile. And, of course, if you're looking for a Chevy or a Cadillac, Les Stanford in Dearborn, where they have been on Michigan Avenue for over 55 years. You can find the brand you want under one umbrella, all GM brands under one umbrella. LesStanford.com, LesStanford.com.
New roads.
Find them. Find those new roads. Welcome back, Woodward Sports Network. I think that was one of the most impactful, thoughtful 15 minutes that we have ever done on this show. So impactful that I'm left here by myself. Braylon has gone. Tom Mazaway has gone. But we do have Spivak and JB here. Everybody's just kind of saying their goodbyes and their thank yous to Eric Kramer for somebody to come and share life like that, because there are so many people going through something different. And I will tell you, to see some of your reactions in the chat as well, I cannot thank you guys enough, because what you're saying in the chat is, you know, you've been diagnosed with depression, you have had thoughts of suicide, you see a therapist, and I think just to know that somebody out there cares, somebody out there, you are not alone, somebody out there is dealing with what you are dealing with. I think that is so powerful, just to be able to utter the words, I need help. I can't do this alone. I want to be happy. I want to be past this, but you just want to know that somebody is out there that is experiencing the same things you are, that has overcome them. And I think, sorry, I'm talking so much here, Braylon.
Please, go ahead.
But when Eric Kramer comes and writes a book, and you see that you can go through all of these things and still come out on the other side, I think that is just so powerful. I don't even know, how to react than just to say thank you to Eric Kramer and thank you to Pete Spivak too, who has come out. Braylon, you have written a book about this. Pete Spivak had just revealed to everybody here that he deals with this constant, and it's not something that comes and goes. It is something that you deal with every day.
Yeah, when I knew we were talking to Eric Kramer today. Obviously I wanted to talk about 91. I wanted to talk about the similarities in the team 91, 2023. But I really wanted to talk about the book. I really wanted to talk about the last basically 15 minutes that we spent talking about. So to have someone that honest, forthright, just upfront, and he deals with it. He said, like you said, Ryan, survival is in the Twitter handle. That's powerful. That's impactful, because when he goes and speaks to places, he's going to touch someone everywhere he goes. There's going to be someone who he changed their life. There's going to be someone that was on the line or on the level or thinking of doing another thing. So I really appreciate him. It took courage to write a book like that. It takes courage to come back from a thing like that. But one of the biggest things I caught on to is when he said, for you, it's over. And I think that's the thing people have to think about when considering something like that. Please remember, once you're gone, your family has to deal with that grief. Your friends have to deal with it. Like, that's something that leaves them. It's almost a selfish act. And I think that's what he was talking about when he said it. So just remember that, man. Ryan, this is powerful, bro.
Yeah, no doubt. And Pete, I want to thank you, publicly on the air for sharing, your story as well. And if you feel free to recap it for the people that you talked about. You just shared with Eric Kramer, a pretty special moment.
Yeah, no, and I really appreciate you guys, giving me the chance to say that, and I really appreciate everybody in the chat as well, because it really is something to not be embarrassed about. I mean, if you really feel constantly down and you guys really feel that you need to get help, seek help, ask a friend for help. If you have a girl or a guy in your life, whatever it is, ask your partner in life for help, ask a friend, anybody for help. Don't be embarrassed about it, because I just got sober 6 months ago from drugs and alcohol. It was the dumbest thing I could have done, but it was the best thing I could have done to seek the help and admit that I had a problem. I had to turn my life around, and I wouldn't be here in this job right now if I didn't turn my life around. And I really, really appreciate Eric coming on today.
That's awesome, man. And we're so happy to have you share that, Pete Spivak. We would want it no other way than to be here with you.
Love you guys.
We've been here for 3 years, 2.5 years, and man, you're the guy in that booth, I'll tell you that. So what we're going to do, look, there's no easy transition back to sports, but we are going to do that. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll do our pick segment, and we'll move forward from there. So let's do that. Everybody on board with that?
Hell yeah.
All right, let's do it. We do have so let's do
the bottom reads.
Let's do this. We'll do the bottom right here, and that means pause. Nothing for you, but Maz is still not here, so I'm going to do my reads, and he'll do his next. Guys Fairway Packing Company has been for over 60 years providing Michigan's finest restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef, Wagyu beef, and dry aged beef. You can experience the Fairway difference for yourself today. All you have to do is head over to the steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods for grab-and-go steaks. If you can't make it there in person, they ship next day. Fairwaypacking.com. Fairwaypacking.com.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists, and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. That's right, college basketball's most elite event. You and your 5 best friends just get to any Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically register to win the trip of your dreams. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com. Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot off the press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Your home is your most important asset. Flexibility in the sales process is key. When you work with Mark White & Associates, you can cancel at any time, for any reason, without penalty. Speaking of flexibility, check this out. Who you work with matters. Hire the best broker in the game.
Coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Hey, gang, let me tell you about Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. That's right. Come to Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and register to win a trip of your dreams. An all-expenses paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament. That's right. No expenses spared for you and 5 of your best buds. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men open 7 days a week. You can walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Wicked.
Woodward Sports Network on a snow-covered Friday
What happened to just
in the
win?
city of
Listen,
Detroit.
hey, my man Tom Major here, my buddy, who's sitting in, he is a snow savant. He can't live without snow, and you know me, I can't live with snow.
It's like the odd couple, right?
It is.
Guys, we're going to do our pick segment now. I'd like some clarification, if I could get
Clarification.
some. The regular season is over.
Yeah, but it's a continuing season.
You have won the
All right,
regular
what was my
season.
record?
I don't. What was your record?
I don't know. Why don't you look up on the screen?
66,
Why don't you look up on the screen?
66, 47, and 6. Well, I'm not. Who cares about the ties? 58 and 55. Good job, Braylon, to finish over
Appreciate that.
500.
Thank you, sir.
I was 3 games under 500, so not terrible.
No,
but,
not at all. You can make some money that way.
55 and 58. So I lost.
You lost the VIG.
I lost the VIG. So here are the games this week. I think we should wipe the slate clean.
Okay.
And go 0-0. We are all 0-0
We're
now.
all even.
All right, JB, how about a beat? We'll go down the line.
Let's go.
Tom Mazaway. All right, here we go.
Let's
Ready?
go. Let's do it.
All right, first game of the weekend. The Houston Texans at home. The Cleveland Browns are the road team. They are the favorite, though. That number has come down from Browns -3 to Browns -2. So, Tom Mazaway, I will come to you first.
Okay.
who
I'll
do you
dope it
like in
out.
this
I'll
one?
dope it out for everyone. This should have been Deshaun Watson against his old team. Instead, it's Joe Flacco, Mr. Playoff, Mr. Super Bowl, the old man. What a great finish to the season he had for the Browns. The Texans, CJ, they don't know any better. They went from worst to first. They win their division. They get the home game. I'm still going with the Clowns. Give me the Cleveland Browns to win this game and cover the 2.
Bray, I'll have you go last since this is one of your former teams on this one. I, too, will take the Cleveland Browns. There is some... I love what C.J. Stroud has done this year. Probably, I can't think of a more impressive rookie season for any first-year quarterback.
Ever.
However, I do think this is a Jimmy football game. I think Jimmy Schwartz defensively dials something up for the rookie to confuse him a little bit. I think you'll see 2 turnovers from C.J. Stroud this week, and I will go with the Cleveland Browns. I'm going to say by a touchdown.
It's Jimmy handshake, by the way.
Same thing.
I saw Laramie Tunsil on Monday night, and I also saw a game at NRG this
you
past
were in
Monday.
Houston.
Something about the energy. I'm sticking with the Texans.
All right.
Texans are gonna win.
All right, the Peacock game. It is going to be something like 65-mile-per-hour winds in Kansas City, minus 30 degrees, something like that. I don't even know if this game has a little bit of doubt of being played, to be honest with you. I think there is a consideration potentially of not even playing this game. But if they
bite your tongue,
if they do play it, I would. If there was one game that I loved Peacock just to get screwed in this week. So, Dolphins on the road. Chiefs a 4.5-point favorite. Bray.
This is a tough one to pick. Chiefs are at home. They have not lost a playoff game at home, I don't believe, except they lost 1. Dolphins minus 4.5. Give me Dolphins. Dolphins to cover.
Maz, I'm gonna let you go last.
This will be a close game. Give me Dolphins.
In a game like this, I'm gonna say I'll take the team that runs the football better, and I honestly believe that is the Miami Dolphins.
It is.
Oh, and Raheem Mostert is back.
Yeah.
Give me the points in Miami.
Would you believe I'm going to give you a clean sweep? I like the Chiefs to win it with a late field goal from about 18 yards out because the snow is going to be falling, the wind is going to be blowing. I like the Dolphins to stay in this game.
Just for craps and giggles, what's the under on this thing?
It's got to be in the 30s. 42 at max.
Okay, let me see. The over-under on this game is 44.
Okay.
Take the under on that one,
bad.
for sure. Take the
I
way
would think.
under.
Do you remember that game on Monday Night Football a few years ago? It was a very windy game. The Bills, and I'm trying to think who they played. It might have been the Ravens, and it was like a 9-7 game.
Bills Dolphins? Or maybe
You remember that?
Yeah, I do.
It was
Yeah.
windy. No,
Yeah.
they could not do anything.
Right.
There was no offense whatsoever. If there's a lock, I think it's the under.
You ready for the over-under in the next game, the Bills and the Steelers? How about 34?
Jeez.
And the Bills are a 10-point favorite. It's down to 9.5, but we'll play this number 10.
It was 13.
Yeah. So, Maz, you go first here.
You ready?
Yep.
How much do I hate the Steelers?
Oh, God. I'm writing down Pittsburgh for you because I already know.
Give me the Steelers.
Bray?
Cover the spread.
I mean,
Everyone's putting against Mike Tomlin. This is his last game. Give me the Steelers.
I'm going Steelers too, just because Josh Allen is still turning the ball over. I'll take Steelers too.
Minka Fitzpatrick's back.
Pittsburgh's going to get shut out. So can Buffalo score 11? That's really what it comes down to. I'm going to take Buffalo. Pittsburgh will score 0 points in this game.
No, the defense will score.
0.
Okay.
How about this? Pittsburgh's offense will score 0 points in this game.
I'll give you a 6. 2 field goals.
0. Okay, next game. Sunday afternoon, the Cowboys, a 7-point favorite over the Packers. That game has come down a bit. It was 7.5.
Yeah. You know what I watched last night?
Yeah.
After bowling?
The rematch.
I watched the 2015
You're a sick
divisional
man.
playoff game
You're
between
a
the Packers
sick,
and the
sick
Cowboys. Tony Romo on 4th and 1, throwing a 45-yard touchdown pass to Des Bryant. That was overruled by Gene Steratore and Mike Pereira in the booth. Do you remember?
Yeah.
The Des Bryant touch. Let me say
It
something.
started with the Lions.
That was karma.
And then it went to the Cowboys.
Yes.
And then
They
it went
screwed
to
the
the
Lions
Packers.
the week before. Then came the Cowboys.
Yeah.
That was a catch.
Yeah.
That was a catch.
I saw him too in
and
Dallas.
they said it wasn't a catch.
Guys, but hold on. Let's pause in our pick segment for a second. Injury report just came out for the Lions.
Uh-oh.
Jerry Jacobs out. Khalif Raymond out. James Houston out.
Yeah. I kind of figured the way Dan was talking.
James Mitchell out.
Oh, hand injury. Uh-oh.
Sam Laporta questionable. John Kaminsky questionable.
Brock Wright.
Not on the
Brock Wright's
injury
playing.
report.
He's your starter.
Yep. Not on the
With
injury
Laporta,
report.
Laporta starts.
All right, back to the picks. So who did you go with here at Dallas?
I'm
or
taking
Green
the
Bay?
Packers.
Packers.
I didn't even get the question asked.
Give me the Pack.
Packers +7.
Cowboys.
Dallas.
Cowboys. Mike is gonna play for his boy. Dan Quinn's last game. Mike is going to play for him.
I am going to pick the Packers because I'm going to root for the Packers.
No.
If the Packers beat the Cowboys and the Lions win, the Lions will get a home game in round 2 in the divisional round. So I'm going to be rooting for the Packers.
Against Tampa or Philly?
Yes. So I'm going to pick the Packers just because I'm going to root for them. Eagles, Bucks. Boy, some disarray in Philadelphia. But it's the Eagles who are a 3-point favorite. This graphic is wrong.
This is Monday Night Football.
Yeah, so Eagles -3.
I actually thought it was 2.5, but it's 3. We'll go with 3.
Hold on, let me see what
See
it
if
is.
it's 2.5.
It's 3.
It's 3? All right, we'll go with 3. Buccaneers are home. You guys go first. I'm going last.
I'm gonna go with Philadelphia and hold my nose. I think the Bucks are the upset of the weekend, but I'm going to go with Philadelphia. I just think they're too talented.
2018 Heisman winner, Baker Mayfield. I'm going with Baker.
Tampa?
I'm going with Baker.
I hope you're right.
I'm going Baker.
I hope I lose this one.
Nick Sirianni on the ropes. Never thought I'd say that. Already on the ropes. A.J. Brown has scrubbed his social media of anything Philadelphia Eagles. They are in disarray. Jalen.
I wish you could scrub social when I played. I would scrub the Cleveland Browns so much. What? Every week I've been scrubbing.
Jalen Hurts hasn't thrown a pass since last week when he injured his finger. He's got a busted finger, a fractured finger, whatever you want to call it. Everything is against Philly, but I'm going to go with him. I can't see that much talent losing to the Buccaneers. I can't. Buccaneers are home, 2 years in a row?
Yep.
Yeah.
And they lost last year to who? The Dallas Cowboys?
Right.
This year the Eagles will take care of it.
Do we even have to say a clean sweep here?
No.
Yeah, what?
Lions.
Boom.
Lions.
Boom.
Cash the check.
We better be a clean sweep. It better be a 6 sweep.
Hands
in
down,
here.
man.
Lions. So there you have it. More breaking news in the coaching ranks. We'll do that next in the NFL. We'll do it. But next, first, a message from Big Boy.
All right, here we go, Big Boy. Wintertime at Big Boy is always great with comfort food, of course. From your local Big Boy, try the veal parmesan or the Southern Comfort Chicken Bowl. And you want some breakfast, start your day off with some great potato pancakes. They are the stuffed potato pancakes, or those new omelets. They are back. It's the Santa Fe omelet and the new apple pie. Hot cakes are too good to pass up, and they still got that gingerbread shake if you're in the mood for it, plus all the other flavors at your local Big Boy.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. That's right, college basketball's most elite event. You and your 5 best friends just get to any Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically register to win the trip of your dreams. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, 2 of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder.
Hey guys, it's Maz for Jack Labrador. You know how to get it. JackLabrador.gg. Learn how to play this great game, fast rising game, taking the place of the old rock, paper, scissors game. 2 new symbols and a 3-point play as well. Comes in this wonderful box as well. how cool this is. Only $20. Click on that QR code above my bald head or go to jacklabrador.gg for all the info. All right.
All right, welcome back.
What did Braylon just tell you?
It's personal stuff, man. We got, we're
That's
just
a
talking
good thing.
personal. Yeah, we're just talking.
Braylon, what'd you tell him?
I'll tell you after the show.
All right.
All right, some coaching news in the NFL. Gerard Mayo, obviously, that was earlier today, takes over for Bill Belichick.
Youngest coach in the league.
Absolutely, and he's been there for a while.
Yep.
They stay within the organization, and he's their guy. Biggest thing there, get a freaking quarterback. Yeah. If they get a quarterback, he'll succeed. If they don't get a quarterback, he'll be fired in 2 years.
They pick second.
They pick third, right?
Oh, yeah, Washington picks
That's right.
Third.
So, any thoughts on that one?
Played against him. He's a hell of a player, and everybody calls him Baby Bill, Crony. Look, he's a young guy. He's in touch with the younger guys, and I think also, like you said, if you get a quarterback, you see D'Amico Ryans with C.J. Stroud. If you get your quarterback, anybody can have success in this league. He knows the game. The fact that they call him Baby Bill, maybe he'll add his own spin to it. So I think we're opening up to defensive coaches if they have a quarterback.
They're picking third. Washington's picking second. Picking first are the Chicago Bears. Did you hear the latest on Caleb Williams?
I did.
Caleb Williams, we don't like him. We don't like him.
What do
You know
do
why we
now?
don't like him? Because he comes out with statements like this. We need to know if the Bears are picking me at first. If they're picking me, I am not declaring for the NFL draft.
How can you say that?
I'm not playing in Chicago.
You sat up here 2 days ago and gave me all kinds of grief because I said Caleb Williams just ain't my kind of guy.
Right. He's not mine now.
Well,
I changed my mind.
You sat right there in Braylon's seat and you hammered me. You know what you said?
What?
Well, that's what John Elway did. And you said, well,
The Mannings.
that's what Eli Manning did.
Yeah.
So,
But not like this.
Why you got a problem with? I'll ask you what you asked me.
Fine.
Why do you have a problem with Caleb Williams for doing what John Elway was celebrated for, and what Eli Manning was celebrated
reprimand
for?
me.
Tom
Don't
Mazaway.
reprimand me. I'm going home. I'll get reprimanded by my wife in a few minutes. Here is my safe place. This is the safe place. I'm just pissed off that he said it that way. That's all. And you know what? If I was a quarterback, I'd want to go to the Chicago Bears.
Well,
I do.
Think about this. Would you really? No offense, and we love Eric Kramer. Eric Kramer played in Chicago a long time ago. He is still their single-season passing leader.
Yeah.
That's
I know,
a
but
long time ago.
He also said, and I believe him, they are on the uptick.
They are.
They might
I
be.
agree with that.
He said they're as good as last year's Lions. I'll put them a step behind them, but they're 2 years away from being this Lions team.
Fair enough.
The only pushback I have on that is Eberflus. Like I'm not like, and I know he did a much better
came
job.
on strong.
And I give him a lot of credit for that.
Pause.
He did a much better job at the end of the season. Great catch. But I'm still not sold on him as a coach.
I heard Colin talk about this. He was surprised he came back, but at the same time, if you are an offensive head coach or a defensive head coach, you have to do what you do well good.
And the defense got good.
And the defense
True.
got good. It's just like,
That's right.
who's the coach at USC right now?
Lincoln Riley.
Their offense is great.
This is true.
They're a train wreck on defense.
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
real.
so you have to do your side of it and then figure out the offense. Bring
Fair.
somebody in. Speaking of offense, there are reports out there that the next head coach of the Washington football team, the Commanders, Cliff Kingsbury, is being looked at.
He's
as
back
that.
from
He's back from
Thailand?
Bangkok?
Yeah.
I thought it was Thailand.
Right.
Pause on that.
Pause.
It's Bangkok, Thailand.
Right.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know that.
But, look, if
What the hell do I know?
seriously for a minute though, you talk about Lincoln Riley at USC. If Kingsbury gets his hands on Caleb Williams or Drake May, you think they'll be good on offense anyway?
I don't know. Kyler Murray didn't
Kyler
do too
Murray
good.
had Patrick Mahomes.
Kyler Murray, I'll tell you, look what Kyler Murray's doing this year when he came back from injury. He's going to be a good
He
quarterback.
knew he had to get his shit together.
Pause. Bray, get us out of here.
Hey, Pistons are playing tonight.
Who?
Pistons.
Oh.
Stop
Great.
Playing the Rockets.
Awesome.
They're giving bobbleheads away today.
Anyway, we're
the
talking about
Thompson
the-
boys.
The Lions are the
Thompson
only thing.
twins
We'll talk about the
Listen,
Pistons off
enjoy
air.
Wild Card Weekend, especially 8 o'clock on Sunday, because your Detroit Lions are going to finally win one at Ford Field. I got nothing else to say. Pete, appreciate you. JB, appreciate you. Tom, appreciate you. Tom, appreciate you. Ryan and Ronnie, I love you.
Love you, man.
We'll see you guys later.
Thanks, Eric Kramer.
Oh my God, Eric Kramer, amazing.
Thanks, Lomas.
Lomas Brown too. Appreciate you both, guys. Go Lions.